Hi, my name is Tosin, and if I haven't met you before, then welcome here. And if I have met you before, then welcome back. Today we're gonna cook together. I am going to try out a rhubarb tart recipe. Mine is gonna be more of a pie because that's what I have. I have a pie dish. And while we cook, we're just going to talk about some of the things on my mind. So this is what it would be like if I invited you over to my house just for a cozy hangout. Let's cook together, unwind together, and enjoy this beautiful sunny day in the kitchen. Today, the ingredients are really simple. We have our rhubarb. Mine is about to go bad, so I hope that doesn't affect things. We have all-purpose flour, sea salt, sugar. I am using raw cane sugar. They said whole milk, that's what the recipe called for, but I am going to use Oatly Barista Blend. I have almond extra, butter, olive oil, and then my measuring cups and things like that. So very simple ingredients. I've always had this struggle where I do not enjoy the feeling of not being excellent at something. And I can't be the only one. I think not a lot of people quite like what it feels like to be learning, but I have this terrible habit of feeling resentment for the learning process, especially the part where I'm not yet good at the thing that I'm going for. So it's one thing for me to be working on getting better at something that I'm already pretty good at. So for example, getting my master's degree in architecture. I already have a bachelor's degree in design. I already know how to use the programs. I already know the base level of this stuff, and so it's more about sharpening a skill that I already have and expanding my knowledge of a field that I already know about than it is learning from scratch. But I found that when it comes to things that I'm not naturally gifted at, things like sports or, like singing, where I wasn't one of those people who started singing when they were quite young, I easily excuse myself, and I often end up quitting a lot of these things just because, for no other reason other than I'm not very good at it. So what I found is that there's all sorts of things that maybe because I started at such a young age, or maybe it's because I had a natural inclination towards those things that I persevered in and I got really excellent at. So anything that has to do with artistry, I got really excellent at. And the things that I have not previously had experience in, I find it really hard to self-motivate myself to work on these things or practice them. And some could say that, if you're not good at something, why force yourself to do it? Aren't you better off, working on things that you have gifting and skills in? And I think there's some truth to that. I think for sure there's value in focusing on your zones of genius, especially when it comes to career and making money. Why would you pursue something that you are clearly not gifted and skilled in? However, we discount the value of doing things that you are mediocre at. And I think that this comes from the way that our world has been lately, where everything is so focused on profitability and making money and just building wealth. And as much as I'm for these things, I think that as human beings, when we limit our experiences to those that make money, this feels like it just needs a little bit more flour. When we limit our experiences to those that make us money, and deny ourselves the pleasure of being okay at something or not good at something, it just starts to break down our experience as human beings. And I feel that we should give ourselves the right to enjoy things that we are not excellent at. So my particular example of this is with singing. And I feel like singing is an interesting hobby because it's one of the only ones where it feels like there is no space to not be good at it. If somebody plays the piano for the first time in their life and they're not very good, we expect that. We are like, oh, like this person is wanting to play the piano, and so they need to get lessons, they need to practice, they need to learn how to play. If you hear someone sing, oftentimes the response, if they're not very good at it, is that they should not. And it's like, leave the singing to someone else, leave it to Beyonce, you know? And yes, there's those rare times where people will be like, oh, with some lessons, this person would be really great, but we have very specific voices to which we say that about, and it's just so strange to me how you have to be an excellent singer for the world to give you permission to do it. So when I started to learn how to sing, I was so held back with this lack of confidence because I was not excellent at it. And I think this comes partially from the world's narrative, but I can't fault the world for my lack of confidence. I really think that it was a fear of mediocrity, because I used to be a person of the belief that we should just spend our time doing things we're excellent at, and if you're not very good at something, you should just leave it to someone else and you should focus on the things you're great at. So I struggled and I grappled back and forth with whether I should even be worried about singing, and I was like, you know, there's so many things that I'm good at. Why am I even concerned about singing? Why don't I instead do something that I'm really great at and put my effort there, rather than putting so much work and effort into something that I am very okay at? And I went back and forth with this, not knowing really like what to do or what the right answer was. And eventually I came to this point of like, I'm passionate about this, I can't deny that. It's something that I want to do, and the only reason why I'm not doing it full force is because I am mediocre at it. But there's so much growth to be found in doing things and working on things that you're mediocre at. I had decided that like, I am only hesitating to continue my singing journey because I'm mediocre at it. But it's something that brings me joy, it's something I want to do, and I think that there is so many life lessons to be learned from pursuing something that I'm not naturally gifted at. In my singing journey, yes, I've become a better singer. Yes, I've begun to learn the skill. But even more than that, I have become so much of a more resilient person. I've become a more humble person. I've become the type of person who knows how to persevere. I've become more empathetic, all because I'm learning something that I'm very okay at. I'm gonna put this in the oven. It says for 35 to 45 minutes. But to sort of resolve my thoughts as I tidy up a little bit, my call to charge for you would be to continue pursuing something that you don't have natural gifting in, that you've wanted to quit for no other reason other than you're mediocre at it. I'm not saying create your career based off of this. I'm not saying to stop doing things that you're naturally good at. I'm just saying that if there's something, especially a hobby, something that you are not intending on getting paid for, to pursue it, because it is allowing yourself to be human. It is giving yourself permission to fumble and be okay and to learn and grow. And I can think of few things more beautiful than that. What better gift can you give to yourself than just being all right at something and pursuing it anyways? If I only show up in spaces that I am completely excellent at the thing I'm doing, then how can I be relatable to other people? Because we see ourselves in all sorts of circumstances. We see ourselves doing the things that we might not be naturally good at, gifted, or feel called to, but then we only see other people in their zones of genius. It smells so good in here. Here she is, looking pretty good. Let me just have a little tiny bit. Oh, that is so good. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Let me know if you like this style or if I should go back to just sitting down. Thought that I would bring you with me into some of my daily activities. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.